SuperTalk Mississippi media production.
Does that tree have you worried? Want to get it cut down before the next storm? You need to call Max Tree Service and Land Management for your free estimate. Don't wait till it's too late. Call us today at 601-695-1717 or check us out on Facebook. Max Tree Service.
And now, Sports.
Get ready, sports fans. It's time for Chasing Foul Balls on SuperTalk Pike County 93.5 and streaming worldwide on the SuperTalk Mississippi app and on your Amazon Alexa devices. Chasing Foul Balls, your weekly source for all the sports news and interviews important to Southwest Mississippi. Chasing Foul Balls is presented by First Bank. And now, here's your host, Robbie Hamilton.
Well, good Friday morning, everybody. Welcome to Chasing Foul Balls right here on SuperTalk Pike County 93.5. Glad to have you along with us. Our guest this morning, boy, we got a pair who can talk sports. The big man himself from the Deke Show, Deke Belavia. And from the Brouhaha podcast, Mr. Dale McKee over around the Meridian area. We'll talk sports with him. With us this morning in the studios, it's the nursing home crew. To my left, Mr. TP himself, Richard Talladega. Hey, how are you?
Just fine, Robbie. Glad to be here.
How you doing?
I'm doing
better than last week?
Oh, yeah.
Well, last week you had a tough week.
Yeah, it was tough, but we got through it, and now it's just, it's gotten easier as I've gotten a little older. I just cut out the 11 o'clock to about 3 or 4 o'clock of the day.
All right. That's the hottest part of the day.
Exactly. And I just, I don't fight it no more. As much as I can.
To my right, the man who had the summons last week couldn't be with us. How was the summons?
Oh, summons was great.
Excuse me, Mr. Neil Randall, also known as the professor.
Also, I'm glad to be back with you purveyors of knowledge.
That's us. Purveyor 1, Purveyor 2.
I don't know what knowledge he wants us to purvey, but we...
I don't know. We can throw it out there, though, with the best of them.
Custodians of all knowledge.
We one of those stick purveyors of knowledge. That's the kind we are.
That's right.
Let's get started. Lots to talk about. The group we said had the least chance to make it to the regionals and the super regionals and the World Series is in the World Series. Ole Miss is the only team from Mississippi playing in the World Series tonight. They'll get started against North Carolina. Surprised, Richard, that Ole Miss able to pull it all off and put it together?
Robbie, not really. The toughest thing I thought is they had to play 2 on the road, and if they won at Nebraska, the regional there, they were going to Auburn. Auburn was really good, but Ole Miss has got they probably have the best starting 3 pitchers. Maybe Texas is probably second, in my opinion. They get timely hitting. They're going to pitch it. They're experienced. They've got a pitcher in Hunter Elliott who's pitched in the World Series. So no matter what situation is, the moment's not going to be too big for him. I think Ole Miss has got a pretty good chance.
So let me ask you, before I go to Neil, they make the announcement yesterday afternoon late that Taylor Rabs will get the start instead of Hunter Elliott in the first game against North Carolina.
If you watch the regional when Rave pitched, I mean, he was unhittable for about 7 innings. So I can understand it against North Carolina because if they match up with the young man, I can't think of his name, that's their All-American pitcher who I watched 2-hit USC, that could be a great matchup. If they win that game, then Hunter's – and it was a toss-up about how to do it. Do you start Hunter with the experience or do you pitch Rave and then Hunter, if they win, Hunter's the guy who you would want in that 2-hole slot to either put you in the driver's seat or get you a win when you need it. So I tough call, but hey, when you got 2 like that, throw them out there.
Mr. Randall, what about Ole Miss?
Well, I was pleasantly surprised. I thought Southern Miss had the best shot. Mississippi State may have had the most talent of any team in Mississippi. Ole Miss went out and played. They played really well, and now they've gotten themselves into what some people might say is the best side of the bracket. But there again, North Carolina is a very, very good team. I think they're rated, Richard, 5th in the nation?
Somewhere in there,
Somewhere up in there. But like I told my buddy who's in the air here in about 2 hours going out there, maybe they can catch lightning in the bottle twice. I hope so. I'm not overly confident about it. But if they beat North Carolina, they should be in the driver's seat. But there are no weak teams in the 18.
They got there for a reason.
That's right.
When FanDuel first came out with the odds, Georgia, the favorite, at 260, Texas at 350, North Carolina at 390, Ole Miss at 650. Yesterday, the new odds came out after the brackets were set. North Carolina is the favorite team to win the World Series because of the bracket they're in.
I would agree with that. In fact, North Carolina or Ole Miss, and I've said this to somebody the other day, whoever wins between those two and whoever wins between Texas and Georgia in the first game will probably put themselves in a position to be playing for a championship, because if you lose that first game, you got to win 3 games in a couple days to get back to play for the championship. That's going to be a hard row to hoe regardless of who you are. And but those 4 teams have the best chance, but tonight and tomorrow night is going to probably dictate who's playing for a championship.
The Mississippi State-Georgia series, guys, had to be one of the better ones I've watched. I watched every game. The 13-12 game was just unbelievable. Home runs going out of the ballpark like they were playing wiffle ball.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Man, you can't help but like baseball like that.
The baseball part was fine, but everybody asked me about how we were going to do, and I said we can't hold a lead. We can't. If we do, we just can't. We just didn't have no middle relief and no closer pitching, and that was our problem, because Georgia's going to score, and we could score with them. It's just that we came up a little short. But yeah, if you like exciting baseball, I mean, that was the one to be watching.
Mr. Randall?
Well, I thought that was maybe 2 of the best teams in the country. And, of course, State had to go to Georgia. And Georgia had beaten State. I think it swept them 3 games in Starkville, hadn't it? So you had to believe Georgia was a favorite. But Mississippi State's an awfully good team, and I'm going to say that they're better than several of the teams that are as good as any of them in the World Series.
Brandon Swordsby for Texas Tech gets a temporary injunction. He'll be able to play at Texas Tech against the wishes of the NCAA. They only make you miss 2 games against 2 nobodies. What's your feelings, Neil, about the Brandon Swordsby situation with Texas Tech and the NCAA?
Well, we know that the NCAA is toothless, and at this point in the game, it's anything goes. Whatever makes the locals happy, they'll get their injunction, and you don't have to look too far to see any of that.
I'll say this, and y'all can come back and say I said it later on. What the decision of this, or however it shakes out, could be the demise of college football and the hierarchy today as we know it. Because if the NCAA, as you said, Neil, they're toothless. They have no you-know-whats. And if this is allowed to go forward and teams start saying we're not playing you.
Wait a minute. No you-know-whats? Oh. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
but if he goes,
no you-know-whats.
Yeah. If schools start saying I'm not going to play, conferences say I'm not going to play, what does that do to TV? Sooner or later, somebody's going to have to step up and say, okay, we're just going to remove ourselves from this of the NCAA, and we're going to go off in our own little way.
NCAA don't negotiate football contracts.
That's what I mean.
TV. ESPN don't go.
That's why I say that. That's why I say they would leave. They could go off and set their own way and say you're not playing because you did this. The NCAA might say you can, but you're not in the NCAA.
The only thing NCAA runs is the basketball tournament. That's true. Get all their money from there. What do you think, Neil?
I can't say what I think.
Richard tried to
disguise it.
Richard tiptoed around a lot there.
It's a mess, and I'll just leave it alone.
you go to watch any of the World Cup?
No, sir.
As I pass through going to other channels, I might.
I wouldn't know what I was watching. I don't know enough about that. Now, Robbie, you played a little soccer back in the day.
I know, so you have to run too much to play soccer. I can't do that.
Usually it's real simple. If I score 3 goals and you only score 2, I win. So that's about what I know about it.
And it takes about 3 hours to figure all that out.
When my daughter came home one day from soccer practice and said, "Yeah, we were working on plays, Daddy," I said, "Plays? Y'all have plays in soccer? I thought y'all just chased the ball around."
It's over here said, of course, the tickets to the soccer, to the World Cup matches in the United States are the most expensive tickets to buy for just about anything. So is somebody going, that's for sure. What about San Antonio and the Knicks, Richard? That has been a wild basketball series.
Yes, it has, and I just don't know how the Spurs recover from the demise that I'd flipped over there to it, and I think San Antonio was ahead by 28 or 27.
29 at one time.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere right around that time. And next thing I know, they were behind by 16, and I said, "Uh-oh." And then I fell asleep and saw it on SportsCenter later in the early morning hours when I woke up that they had lost, and I was stunned that you give up a 29-point lead. But in today's world, where all you do is shoot threes, if you're making them, fine. If you're not, it's tough. Knicks will win it.
The amazing thing was San Antonio, they were up by 15-20 and still shooting threes.
Exactly. I mean,
instead of running the clock, they were shooting the basketball. And they got beat.
It's all about me. Look at me. It is there is no team in shooting threes.
Richard, your man Chris Lamotis gets the job at Coastal Carolina. You surprised he get the job there?
No, not really, Rob. He's from South Carolina. He coached at the Citadel. He's got a World Series championship on his resume. So no, it's not surprised that they got Coach Lamonis, and saw that I think this morning or late last night that Jake Gautreaux, who was at Mississippi State with him as a hitting coach, is going to join him. So they'll put a pretty good staff together, and Coastal Carolina's won. They got a national championship too. So they play good baseball over there. They had a down year this year, obviously, but Coach Lamonis will probably do pretty well over there.
What do you think, Dale? You surprised?
He's obviously a very good coach. I thought he did a really good job at Mississippi State. Apparently, folks at Mississippi State didn't totally agree. But, these guys, they have contacts, and he's got a nice resume. And like Richard said, Coastal's got a World Series championship, and he'll do well. They'll do well.
Richard, is there a number of wins that Jeff Levy has to have this year to keep his job, or is he safe?
Oh, no, he's not safe, Robbie. If you're realistically talking, I would say 6 would probably be that number. I've heard people say 7. I don't know how we get to 7. There's a lot of talk out there that 4 and 8's not going to do it. If you said your 4th win was you beat Ole Miss, maybe you stay around. Y'all know that as well as I do. Sometimes it's not how many you beat, it's who you beat them and when you beat them. And but yeah, my number is 6. He's got to get to 6 somehow, or either maybe be 5 and 7 or whatever the number would be. But you beat Ole Miss or you beat somebody you're not supposed to have a chance. But yeah.
Have State reloaded? I know they lost some talent.
Neil, we have to some extent, but who knows with all the people coming in? We supposedly, we talked about it last year. But the product on the field didn't turn into wins. Yeah, we could have beat Texas. We should have beat Florida. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. That's the way it is. If all those things turn into victories this year in those situations, okay, yeah, you get a renewal on your contract and you stay around for a few more years.
You've got to be optimistic about Kamario Taylor coming back
exactly.
quarterback.
But if the offensive line isn't Camario can only run so much away from those defensive linemen that can chase him down. So that's a big question mark.
Final question, guys. Best mayonnaise: Kraft, Duke's, Blue Plate, or Hellman's? What you got, Neil?
What's that? Was it Miracle?
Oh, you can't say Miracle Whip. That's not mayonnaise.
That's not mayonnaise. That's right.
Oh, that's terrible.
Well, that's what I use, and I'm sticking with it.
No wonder you off. Let's don't pay attention over here. Let's go to Richard.
If Richard's going to the grocery store to get mayonnaise, and I do not have distinct instructions, I'm buying Blue Plate. If the wife tells me get mayonnaise and she doesn't put out there Blue Plate or Duke's or something, then I get Blue Plate. But other than that, I will say there's one in the refrigerator still there. It's called light mayonnaise.
Oh gosh, that's terrible
my
too.
word!
I told her, was it on sale or something? She said, I grabbed it without looking. I said, okay, I can believe that.
What about Miracle Whip? You eat Miracle Whip?
No.
Lord help us. We'll come back. The big man himself, Deke Belavia, will join us right here on Chasing Foul Balls, and we'll either some Blue Plate or Miracle Whip or something. Welcome back, Chasing Foul Balls on the Friday morning here in Southwest Mississippi. Joining us on the phone, the big man himself with the Deke Show, Deke Belavia. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine, gentlemen. Good morning.
How are you? I will start you off with the same question I ended the two I got with me. Best mayonnaise: Kraft, Duke, Blue Plate, or Hellman's?
Oh, that's a tough one there.
Or as Neil said, Miracle Whip.
I like all. I mean, I gotta have mayonnaise, so I'll take anything. But I love Hellman's, but Duke's is pretty good though. I like Duke's too.
All right, you're a two mayonnaise man, Hellman's and Duke's. We'll take that. First question: tell me about your buddy Lane Kiffin.
Well, I mean, he's gonna have to win some games this year. I'm talking 8, 9 games is not gonna cut it. He better get up there to about 10 wins. With all this money he's making and all these players he's got, they rumors. I would say they're rumors, but some are saying they spent about $30 million on players. I mean, that's like an NFL payroll.
Let me ask you this question. I've had it on my list for the guys, but I never got around to asking them yet. I want to ask you, it'll be a good question. Now, from an LSU perspective, September the 20th, that's the day after Ole Miss and LSU plays on that Saturday, that Sunday morning. If Ole Miss wins a close game, what's the LSU fans feeling?
Oh, I don't really think it matters who they play and who they lose to. If they lose, it's going to be tough. I mean, it's just going to be tough because people don't want to win and win now. And I mean, they just came off of paying a man pretty handsomely with Brian Kelly. So I'm really thinking whoever they play, it better not come down to coaching is all I'm going to say. Because if it does, I don't think he's ever seen anything like he's seen down here yet.
If Ole Miss wins big, would that cause a revolt among the LSU faithful?
Oh, they'll be highly teed off for sure. No doubt about that. They really will. I just, from what we understand right now, you don't really have an idea of who the quarterback is going to be. I mean, the one they counting on, Levet, he's still banged up. I don't know if he's going to be ready for camp or what. And these other ones, they said didn't look too good during spring ball. So, man, I don't know. LSU's going to be LSU. It don't matter who the coach is.
Deke, Neil, good to hear your voice again, big guy. Let's switch over to our favorite team up here, the New Orleans Saints. Are we going to see Cam Jordan and Alvin Kamara in the black and gold this year?
Well, I hope so, Neil. I really do. I mean, go ahead and let Cam finish out. I mean, you got an opportunity to let the man play his whole career here. He's wonderful in the community. I mean, last year, he didn't look like somebody that was on his last leg. I mean, he looked like he was in the middle of his career. So I'm hoping they'll let both of them finish because the fans love them. They're still producing. And it would be a big boost to them going into camp. And I think it'd bring a lot of excitement to everybody to have those guys back here.
Deke, this is Richard Hay. Staying with the Saints, we ended the season kind of on a high note. We did some things in the draft that I think people are excited about. What's your excitement level? Do you think we're towards the middle end of the season, we could be in the playoff hunt? Can we make the playoffs?
Oh, yeah. I think anybody in this division can win it. You're probably looking at the high watermark is probably, I'd say, 9, 10, or more than 11 games will get you this division. And it doesn't matter, You are going to play more than likely. I'd say the 5th seed out the West, because let's face it, NFC West is going to have the number 1 seed, and then the next highest seed they can have is number 5. But that 5 seed, like it was with the Rams last year, is going to be a team that's going to have probably 4 or 5 more wins than the NFC South champion. That West is loaded. I mean, anybody but Arizona could go to the Super Bowl and win it out of that class. I mean, San Fran, Seattle, the Rams, they're just loaded. That division is loaded. It's like the NFC East used to be back in the mid to late 80s before the Cowboys came along and got good with one of Jimmy Johnson. I just really think that they got as good a chance as anybody in the South to get to 8, 9, 10 wins. And if you ain't on that mark, you got a chance to win the division.
All right, Deke, would you say the Saints fans are excited about the coming season or just cautiously optimistic about the coming season?
No, I think they're excited. I really do. I think they're excited to see if Tyler Shuck can pick up where he left off from last year. They got some more weapons around him. And H.N., I don't know why. He says it's H.N. To us down here, it's H.N. But the man wants to be called H.N. I'll call him H.N.
To the Louisiana fans, y'all call him anything if he'll rush for 1,000 yards, won't you?
Oh, man, they'll do anything. They'll go cook for him if they want him to.
Well, they'll do that no matter.
I really do think they're excited. I really do.
Deke, Neil again. Last year we heard some grumbling and rumbling about the Saint offensive line. What do you anticipate there with the big guys up front?
Well, I think they've upgraded a lot. I mean, you got the highest rated guard coming from Buffalo, and Buffalo has always got a pretty decent offensive line. They rush the ball well. They protect Alvin well. So picking him up was huge. And the line, they came on at the end of last year. So I really do think they've upgraded there. They did well with the draft picks. They did well in free agency. And now it's going to come down to find out which one of these undrafted free agents or free agents and let around draft picks can make the team, because that's what it's all about, getting that bang for your buck. Because the NFL is designed for the winners to become losers and the losers to become winners. Because when you lose in the NFL, you go to the top of the line and pick. It's not like college. And the Saints had a pretty good pick in the first round, and he's going to be key. Now, if he's healthy or not, can he stay healthy? That was his big deal to Arizona State. But they say he's got all the skill he can have. So I'm thinking that could be somebody that him and Chuck can develop a good rapport for on the field.
Deke, this is Richard again. A lot of people, Pelican fans up this way with basketball, and we've seen the NBA and the hiring of Jamal Mosley. Does that do anything for to re-energize the excitement for the Pelicans back? I guess when we drafted Zion Williamson and there for a couple years, but he couldn't stay healthy. Where's the thermometer on that right now with the new coach being hired, Joe Dumars, general manager? How has that affected? Is there any more excitement, or is it kind of just ho-hum because it's the Pelicans?
Yeah. The last thing you said, I'd agree with. But I tell you what, Mosley's a good coach, a real good coach. He's an old school 1980s NBA defensive-minded coach, and I think they got a really good pickup when they got him. By way of Orlando's misfortune, he basically got fired because he blew a 3-1 lead in the opening round of the playoffs. But no, I think Mosley really gets them excited. You know, I'm happy for him. Now, what can he do? What can he pick up? I have no idea. But Williamson has been nothing but a big disappointment since he's been here.
Will the Pelicans trade Zion, or will they trade Trey Belfry Jr. the third, or are they on stay pat as they are?
I mean, Williamson's not even the best one on the team right now, so I don't know what they could get for him. They might be better off staying with him and see if Mosley can get something out of him. But he's got to stay healthy, man. I mean, he hadn't played a whole season yet since he's been here. And, I mean, you could add up all his seasons together. It might come down to 3 he's played totally. So they might be better off keeping him. I don't know who they can unload that contract on.
Deke, let's switch gears a second. What's your take on the new basketball coach at LSU and his, I'm not going to say shenanigans, but what do you think about Will Wade?
Well, you know, when the athletic director was sent back, and I think it kind of opened the door for Will to come back. And, you know, when Will left LSU, man, hell, he was just setting gangbusters off at McNeese. I mean, they rarely lost the conference game, and then he did well at NC State. So he's a go-getter now. He's a really go-getter. They were hoping to get a hold of Alan Graves, the kid that played at Monticello and won 2 state championships. And he went out to Santa Clara and really did a good job and made a big performance in a tournament against Kentucky. He hit the last couple of threes, but he decided to stand pat and stay in the NBA draft. So I think they're going to stand pat with what they got. They picked up some good recruits. He's known as a go-getter for getting recruits. Now, we know what happened the last time he went and got good recruits.
But that's legal now, dude. That's legal.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's legal now, but back then, you know, they had the bag man.
Yeah.
They don't have to have the bag man.
Everybody had a bag man back then.
That's right, but I think he's a lot better than previous coaches they've had.
Deke, this is Richard again. Stay with the LSU theme, and I know it was a tough year for the baseball program, and one that shocks me. And the question is the portal? It's giveth and the taketh. I mean, Jay Johnson can evaluate talent and coach with the best of them. when he had to admit that he missed on 3 or 4 guys that he thought would come in and play, is that just what we're going to have to live with going forward? And how's the LSU faithful from the standpoint? I know it's a bump in the road. We'll be right back next year. Is that what you really think about it?
I think that's what the fans feel. You know, when you win 2 out of 3 national championships, you got a little time. But I've never seen anything like that before in my life. I never have. I mean, you picked up great players, and you're the one that picked them. So obviously you thought they were fit, and they were horrible. I mean, LSU, and I've never seen. I mean, to lose to Dartmouth, Bethune-Cookman, and then they were swept so many times this year. Ole Miss, Florida. I mean, I've never seen anything like it before in my life. And if somebody would have said LSU wasn't going to make the postseason tournament, I would have said, well, this happened before. You know, we've seen it. But to not even be close, I've never seen anything like that before.
Deke, isn't it the fact, though, you got all this money to spend, but the money you spend's got to be on the field? The money you spend can't be sitting on the bench. If that happens, you're really in a bind. And that's what happened to Jay Johnson. The money he spent ended up on the bench, and the freshmen started.
Yeah, it was almost like once they got to that mark and toward the, you know, everybody kept waiting for them to click. Everybody kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally all the fans were through the hourglass, and so it was the days of our lives, you know. I mean, everything was kind of thrown out the window, so to speak. And then he had to salvage what he could, and he went with the guys he knew was going to be back next year.
Tell me about the Deke Show.
Oh, man, I'm enjoying myself. 106.7, Fox Sports Radio, New Orleans, the ticket. I'm on weeknights from 7 to 8. Saturday mornings from 8 to 10, and then a couple of hours before Saints games, all Saints games. So I'm really enjoying myself, and glad to be back in the mix.
You telling them like it is?
Oh, I usually tell them like it ain't, but I tell it like it is, too.
That's my Deke right there. Tell them like it ain't. Thanks, Deke. We appreciate you taking your time to get up and be with us on this Friday morning.
All right, fellas. Thank y'all. Yeah, I appreciate it.
We'll talk to you later.
Yes, sir.
Deke Belavia from Fox Sports in New Orleans, the ticket. Boy, that Deke, he got some stuff, don't he?
He knows some stuff.
He knows
some
stuff. You get him 101, he can tell you some stuff. That's
and to tell you what it ain't, huh?
He can tell you what it ain't in a hurry. We'll come back. Dale McKee joins us next on Chasing Foul Balls. On this Friday morning, if you're looking for a bank that feels like home, now First Bank is here for you. 14 locations across southern Mississippi. We're your local bank for checking, savings, loans, and more. Now, whether you're buying a home, starting a business, or you just need everyday banking made easy, First Bank ready to help you. You can stop by the nearest branch. You can visit firstbankms.com today. First Bank, where customers and community matters most. Member FDIC and an equal housing lender. Join us on the phone from the Brouhaha Show. Our man, Dale McKee. How are you, Mr. McKee?
Well, I'm doing good, guys. How y'all doing today?
I mean, we shucking and jiving. First question we've asked everybody. What's the best mayonnaise? Kraft, Duke, Blue Plate, or Hellman's?
Well, I guess I have to go with what my wife buys. Hellman's, I guess.
Yeah, just go what the wife says, huh?
Yeah, that's the best way to survive life.
There you go. That's the easiest way to get the right answer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let me ask you the first question today. Tell us a little bit about Ole Miss baseball. Are you surprised that they're in the World Series?
Well, I was if you'd asked me that question about 3 weeks ago, I'd have probably said yes. But I changed my mind when they were playing in the Lincoln Regional. I remember one of the announcers, not the play-by-play guy, he said, Ole Miss is built for Omaha. And it just shocked me. But that was a weird, to me it was very unusual regional because of the 13-inning extra inning game and the stopping the game one night and starting it back the next night, and then them always seeming to come up with the right play at the right time. So, but honestly, even when they went to Auburn, I'd heard Auburn was stacked with pitching and it was going to be real difficult to win. And they came out of there smelling like a rose. They got great pitching. When you can take out Taylor Rabb and Hunter, a good left-handed pitcher, and even Cade Townsend, and then you follow them up with Calhoun and Hooks and that Robinson that come in relief. That's a pretty good tandem there.
Dale Neal Randall, glad to have you with us this morning.
Yes, sir.
Saw an opinion the other day from some Georgia fans saying that they thought that once the 8 teams qualified for Omaha in the World Series, that they should be seeded. And, of course, that has a lot to do with them playing Texas first. What's your take on that?
Well, I'm not opposed to it. I understand what their complaint is.
Absolutely.
But then, are you going to reseed them by what they were seeded? Well, you can seed the first 16. Then after that, I don't really know what seed Ole Miss was. To be honest with you, all I know is they were in the bracket the 13th, somewhere down in the 13th seed because of but I don't know if they were actually 13th seed, the 26th, 39th, or 52nd. I'm not sure. So I can understand their complaint, but I think Mississippi State should have a better complaint than Georgia.
Yeah, truly.
Dale, this is Richard Hay. I guess the weekend after State swept Ole Miss, and there was a lot of rumblings in the media and the fan bases. What's wrong? We can't get a hit. We just got swept by our arch rival. And I remember back in 2022, there was a couple shifts in the pitching rotation when DeLucia came to the starting rotation, Hunter Elliott. It was right about the same time and next thing you know, they're on a roll. Have you thought about it or made some comparison from that standpoint? Because after the Mississippi State series, Ole Miss just started pitching lights out and getting big hits when they needed them.
Yeah, there is some similarity to that. That's a good point. I think more than anything that you have to. I know the bashed a lot, okay, by Ole Miss fans. They cannot stand losing to Mississippi State. That's just one of their issues, But he always seems to get better with his pitching as it goes through. Now, a couple years ago, like I think it was 2023, they went 5-25 in the conference, and that was after winning it all. And even the next year, they suffered a little bit. They were like both seasons they had losing seasons, but he was building. But what's great about this team is the loyalty that they've had to him. Because a lot of these seniors have been with him for 4 and 5 years, and they stayed with him. And so there must be something. He must be a pretty good coach.
Your feelings on Brian O'Connor, the job he did at Mississippi State?
Yeah, he's just, he's already been building for next year. The bullpen was their biggest issue this year, at least in my opinion. And he's gone out and he's signed the best reliever South Carolina had, and I think he's going to state next year, and he's signed a couple of outfielders. He's going to get players. He had talented players this year. They just lack, they that vital spot of the bullpen at times. They lost a lot of one-run games, especially in SEC play. They lost I read somewhere where they were 4-8 in one-run games within a conference. So you change that, and they may be in Omaha right now. But they did get a bad draw in that Super Regional when they had to go to Georgia, because Georgia reminds me of that Tennessee team. When Ole Miss won it in 2022, Scott Berry told me this. He said, when Tennessee got beat, every other team looked around that was going to be in the World Series and said, hey, we got a chance now. Because Tennessee was the best team. I think Notre Dame beat them in the regional up in Knoxville. And everybody thought Tennessee was just going to sweep through that thing. And I think Georgia's got the same kind of team that Tennessee had in 2022.
Dale, Neil again. Let's switch gears here for a second. And what do you anticipate from the Ole Miss football team this year with the new head coach? What kind of record do you think they'll have, and what kind of record would the alumni be satisfied with, or can they be satisfied?
I don't know if alumni ever satisfied. But you just look at their schedule, and I try to be sensible about it, If you're a fan favorite, you're going to say, well, we win this one, and all that,
Right.
But, the ASCP, you look at their schedule and who they're playing this year that's a little bit different than who they played last year, I'm not saying they had an easy schedule. There's no easy schedule in the SEC. But they didn't have to play, Texas last year and Texas A&M and places like that. But they still played some quality folks. Don't get me wrong. But I think a 9-3 or 22, just with the SEC going to Texas. You got to go to Texas to play. You got to go back to Oklahoma to play. But I think they have to go back to Florida. Florida's always given a tough time down there. I don't know. I mean, 9-3, 10-2 for the alumni. I think they probably have to win 2. I think Pete Golden is an old school coach. He reminds me of an old time head coach back in the 70s or 80s, around Mississippi, just a high school coach, basically. But I think he's a very smart young man. Nick Saban, he doesn't post jobs. He calls you if he wants you. And he called Pete. So Pete must be a pretty good, defensive end. Pete said on one of his podcasts he was on with somebody one time that his interview with Saban and his staff was 9 hours long. And all he was doing was breaking down Clemson's offense, because that's who Alabama was going to play in the national championship game that year. So if you can survive a 9-hour interview process with Alabama coaches and Nick Saban, you must be a pretty good football coach.
Other side of that, what's your feelings on the number of wins that Jeff Levy needs to keep his job, or is he safe no matter what?
I don't know. I mean, they fired a guy after 1 year up there, but what he's got going for him is that the AD was at Oklahoma when he was, and he brought him here, so he might give him a little more slack. He may give him another year, but I don't know. Last year they won, was it 5 games, 5 and 8? So, they did a little bit better than they did the year before. They got 3 more wins. I would say, 5 to 6 wins, he could probably keep it for another year. 5 wins, he could maybe keep it for another year. 6 wins, but people don't understand. Mike Leach had a certain kind of talent when he was there to run his offense. Well, when he left, Zach Arnett did away with that offense, but the players that Leach had recruited was recruited just to run that offense. Well, if you're going to change the offense, you have to change players. So I think they went through that transition, but I think Jeff has got some good kids. He's doing really well in Mississippi as far as recruiting, in our state. But they are another one that's got a real difficult schedule. And so I think if they get to 5 wins, they're doing really well. And 6 wins would be a bonus.
Dale, this is Richard Hay again. It's been talked about since the move was made, and looking at the schedule. The third game of the year for the Ole Miss Rebels is LSU, and my question is the emotional buildup, all the drama that went on with all that. Now the makings of the third game of the year is like the championship game. My question is, how does that win or loss affect them emotionally? Because if they lose the next week, they got to go to Florida. And we've always talked about Florida's new coach. They've always got talent. If they lost 2 in a row right there, what does that do to the fan base that's had all this emotional buildup coming into the season?
Well, I think Ole Miss is under more pressure than LSU. I think if Ole Miss would lose that game, I think that I don't know how the team would take it emotionally. And so that would be the biggest issue for Ole Miss. I don't know if Kiffin goes up there and loses. I don't know. I think Kiffin will have a learning curve at LSU like anybody else. And I know that sounds unusual for him to be an SEC been in the SEC for as long as he has, 6 years or so, and assistant coach too. But I think he would be given a little more time. I know LSU fans may not be happy with the loss, but Ole Miss people would be crushed. And that's the difference, I think. And your fan base, they kind of determines some nights how you're going to play by just showing up. And so if Ole Miss loses that, I remember growing up, I was talking to my uncle one day, and Ole Miss and LSU used to have some great rivalries back in the early 60s, 59, 60s, and all through there. And I knew he was a big Ole Miss fan, and I said to him one day, I said, and Ole Miss only lost 1 game that year. That was to LSU. And he said, well, the season's over. It's over. I don't know when they played, 6th, 7th game of the year back then, something like that. And so that's maybe, I think some of the Ole Miss fans still have that in the back of their minds, that, hey, we got to win this game. And they do, really, for it. I think every game you play in SEC determines whether you're going to get in the playoffs or not. It's kind of rough. It's kind of a rough deal, and I don't know if it's good or not for the SEC to go to 9 games, to be honest with you, as far as keeping teams in the race for the national championship.
Neil Randall again. You're over there in Whistler, over in the eastern part of the state. How does William Carey baseball stay so consistent year in and year out?
Well, I think it top was Bobby Alford. He's got a plan every year, and he just goes in and fills out little slots like this. I know they depend on JUCO for just about. I know the men's basketball for sure, and then baseball they depend on a lot of JUCO kids, and we got a lot of really outstanding JUCO baseball players in this state. We've got some mighty fine baseball teams in this state with Pearl River and Jones, and I think Northwest up there in Itawamba played really well this year. And so, I think that, even in softball, girls softball, my goodness, Cove Lynn and Pearl River and Jones, and it's just stacked in this state with that JUCO talent. So I think William Carey kind of has bought into that. And so that's kind of like their headway into the next season, and things like that. That's just my opinion. I've never been asked that question because they are, like you said, so consistent. that you just think they're going to win 40 games next year. You know, it's kind of like Southern Miss. You know, hey, we're going to win 40. You know, it's going to take us some time, but we're going to win it. You know.
Well, Dale McKee from the Brew Ha Ha podcast joining us on this Friday morning. Dale, thanks for taking the time to be with us.
Always a pleasure, man. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll be back in touch with you.
Thank you.
Guys, one step before we get out of here, I want to make sure I get in. Ole Miss this year has 9 D1 transfers, 0 D2 transfers, 5 JUCO transfers, and 24 high school players. 37% of the roster is transfers. That's 7th out of 8 in the College World Series. Only North Carolina has fewer transfers on their roster than Ole Miss.
Well, personally, Robbie, I think that says a lot about Coach Bianco. A lot of the guys that we've mentioned have been around 3 or 4 years. He has a culture. He's built it, and I just think it's a tribute to him.
We'll be back with you next Friday on Chasing Foul Balls. Thanks for taking the time to be with us. We'll see you next week.
Everybody's looking for romance. I just want a little time to dance. And tomorrow we can sleep all day. Before tonight we'll let the music play. You remember how it used to be. I love the way that you would dance with me. Rocking and rolling till the clock unwinds. And then we'd holler out one more time. Don't turn out the lights, the party ain't over. Well, the band just started to play my favorite song. I just found my baby and I want to get a chance to hold her. So don't turn out the lights, the party ain't over. I said don't turn out the lights, don't turn out those lights, don't turn out the lights, the party ain't over.
A SuperTalk Mississippi media production.